Hey guys, it's Bryony. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing my 32/33 week bump date. I realised this week that I think I've only got like another 2 of these left to do because I'm 33 weeks today. So I'll have my 34/35 week bump date and then 36/37 week bump date. And at that point, I'm going on maternity leave, so I probably won't have a chance to do a 38 or a 39 week bump date, but I guess we will see. So it might only be another 2 of these videos coming up, which is kind of terrifying. But at the same time, it feels good to know that like we're almost at the end now. So I don't really have a lot to update on actually this time. It's been a pretty easy couple of weeks, which is nice. But some things I have to update on. So first of all, I finally had a chance to meet up with some other solo mums to be. So I have been, ever since like I got pregnant, I've been a part of a solo mothers group for mums that are due to have their babies in like springtime this year. So any time pretty much from February to I think to about June time. So it's a bit of a spread, but there is a group of, it's all over the UK, but there's a group of solo mums who are kind of based more around London, and they've been meeting up for a dinner each month. I think for a couple of months, like a good few months now, but I personally have just never been well enough to go to one of these because like by the time they started doing them, I was having fainting episodes. I really couldn't walk far. I couldn't have even walked to the station, let alone got a train into London. So I would have had, I've only been able to have gone if it was somewhere that I could have driven to and parked. And also just eating in general was not fun for a good part of my pregnancy because of food aversions, etc. So I just never got a chance to meet any of them. However, I did manage to work out that one of the mums was quite local to me and got in touch with her and said, did she fancy meeting for coffee? And she said yes. And then there was another mother who was in that group who was relatively local too. And so we all met up and had coffee and a chat together, and that was so nice. So it's really great to meet some other solo mums for the first time, and it's just, because it's a different experience when you're going through it on your own and everyone has different reasons for doing it, but it was a lovely experience. That was a really positive thing that happened, and I think I was 32 weeks when I met them. Yes, because it was last Monday, and we're all pretty much around the same point. So I think I'm the furthest along at 33 now, and then they are 32 and 31 respectively. So we're all pretty much around the same time. So that's really nice to kind of meet some other mums who are doing the same thing. So that was really positive. And on another positive note, I had my first antenatal class last Sunday, which was a bit of a surprise because I actually was booked onto a course. I chose to go with, I think it's Bump and Baby antenatal courses. So it's a private antenatal course. The NHS aren't currently running them other than online, and I really wanted to meet some like other local mums. So I was originally booked for another area. However, that one wasn't due to start until I was about 36 weeks pregnant, and I was always a bit like, oh, I'm not sure if that's a bit like cutting it a bit fine, because they had classes in that area for like women due early January to early February, which happened back in December, and then the next one was for women due early March to early April, and I'm due late February. So I was like, well, which one do I go for? But I ended up booking the early March to early April one because I figured if I go overdue, I'll be in early March then. But it did feel like it was cutting it a bit fine. And then when I met the other solo mums a week ago, I was speaking to one of them, and her class was due to start on Sunday, and so I went online and looked, and I thought I'll just see if there's any space. It's very rare they have any spaces, but I thought I might email the company and just ask if anyone had cancelled last minute if I could be added on the list, and I found that they had 1 space left. So I emailed them and said, could I transfer from the original class I was doing to that one, and they said yeah, that was fine. So I ended up going on Sunday, which was actually really good because I and this other lady who was a solo mum were the only other solo parents in that class. The rest were all couples, and so actually it was really nice to have kind of like someone who I could sit next to and chat to who was kind of in the same position to me, and also somebody who I already knew. So that was really good too. So yeah, so I unexpectedly started my antenatal classes much sooner than I thought. So that was last Sunday, and then I have another one coming up this Sunday, and then I think we have like a social after that, and like there's a WhatsApp group where people can chat and everything, and hopefully over time we'll kind of continue to build those connections, etc. But the first class went really well. It was mainly about like labour and birth, but they covered kind of all sorts of different types of scenarios and everything, and it was really informative, so that was really good. A lot of it, I'm not gonna lie, I did know already because I'm one of those people that likes to research things and like know everything, so I knew a lot of it, but it was really helpful, and like being able to ask it's a midwife who does the classes, and being able to ask her questions and stuff was really helpful too. So I really enjoyed it, and hopefully this Sunday's one goes well as well. So the other thing that happened last week was I had my 32-week midwife appointment. So now that I'm a bit more pregnant and I'm getting closer, my midwife appointments go from every 4 weeks to every 2 weeks. So I would usually have had another appointment next week at 34 weeks, but I actually have a consultant's appointment. So my midwife said she didn't need to see me next week because the consultant will do all the checks that she would have done, and it doesn't make sense to have her on the Tuesday and then my consultant on the Wednesday. But at 32 weeks I saw her and everything was kind of fine. However, when she tried to pick up his heartbeat, she couldn't find it. So they use this little Doppler machine, and she was on there, and it does often take them a little, minute or two to find it. But she was kind of moving around, and she couldn't pick it up, and I could hear like the background noise from the Doppler, and you just couldn't hear anything close to a heartbeat on there. And it took her, I think, a good 5 minutes to find it. And actually, she had to stop using that machine and go and use a different Doppler machine to find it. And it was the first time I think I've actually been quite worried that something might not be right. Although I didn't panic too much, because because obviously when they're doing the Doppler, they kind of push into your stomach and they're kind of poking and prodding quite a bit. So while she was doing that, she obviously disturbed him, and I did feel a kick. So I was like, okay, I know you are there, and I know you have been moving recently, so I'm pretty sure he's fine, and I'm pretty sure he's just kicked me. But it is nerve-wracking when they can't find the heartbeat. But anyway, it turned out he's head down still, but he's kind of curled up, or he was curled up like right around the side. So she had to kind of like go on the Doppler, push it right into my side to pick up his heartbeat. But she did manage to find it with the second Doppler machine, which didn't have quite so much background noise, and it was absolutely fine. So at that point I was like, oh, okay, feeling a bit relieved. So yeah, that was not the most fun thing to experience. That's the most difficult time they've had finding his heartbeat. Like right from the beginning, like 15 weeks when they first tried to do it, I think they've managed to find it quite quickly. So he obviously was being a bit of a monkey hiding around out there. But then after she'd finished in Doppler and I was sitting back down again, he then was kind of like jumping all over the place. So I knew he was fine after that as well. So that was all fine. And she did give me, because I won't be having an appointment with her next week, she did give me a packet for colostrum harvesting, which is something you can do to kind of like get your breast milk flowing. From like 36 weeks you can start doing it. And some people can harvest colostrum, some people can't. So I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to try or not. There seems to be, I asked her, like, does it improve like breastfeeding rates, or does it give you a better shot at it? And nobody seems to think it does, or has said it does. So I'm really curious if any of you did it. Did you find it helpful to like with breastfeeding afterwards, or did you think it not made any difference? Because I'm kind of torn as to whether or not to do it, to be honest. I think I might give it a try, but I don't know. Other than that, everything looked good. He's measuring kind of as he should do, and he has done since, so he seems to be on track with all of that. Oh, the only other thing, I seem to keep having a bit of drama with my urine samples, because the last time I went in and had a urine sample, they picked up a little bit of glucose in my urine. Now I had just had like Cocoa Pops for breakfast, and I'd grabbed a Lucozade bottle as I was running out the house because I knew I'd need a drink to take on the way. So I was like, I'm pretty sure that is what's caused this like small bit of glucose picked up in my urine. But obviously they had to redo the urine test just to be sure that wasn't the case. So this time I went and I was really good, and I didn't have anything sugary beforehand. I had toast and butter and I had a glass of water before I left. And sure enough, my urine sample was fine. They didn't find any glucose, but they did pick up white blood cells. And she was like, did you like let the first bit of pee go before putting it in using the collection cup? And I was like, no, I didn't. And she said, okay, I think it could just be like, some discharge or something that's skewing it, but we need to send it off to get it assessed. And so she did that, and then she called me earlier this week and said it came back kind of inconclusive, so we need to do another sample, and this time like wipe before you go, and also let the first bit of pee go and then catch the midstream. And I was supposed to go on Tuesday, but I completely forgot because I had to go for a meeting at like 10, and then I was going to kind of pop in on my way back because the clinic where I go only runs on Tuesdays, and I just completely forgot. But I said to her, like, am I okay to hang out until my consultant appointment next week, because I'm not having any like pain or anything, like any symptoms of it, so like, I don't think I've got anything going on. There's no smell or anything. And she said, yeah, you're probably fine to wait till then. So hopefully my next urine sample, I'll remember to wipe and to go midstream, and also to eat and drink not sugary things beforehand, and I'll have a fine urine test. But every time, like, something seems to be just slightly off and they have to keep checking it. And I have just been very bad at remembering to go back and get retested. I was supposed to go and get retested after the first urine sample went wrong, actually, but I had to cancel that one because I couldn't make that appointment either. So yeah. So I think that's pretty much everything that's happened the last 2 weeks. Mental health wise, I've been pretty good. I finally got my referral into like the one-to-one counselling stuff, and I was able to start my first session yesterday, which is really helpful, and I think that's going to help me a lot over the next few weeks as well, so that's really good. But I've been doing a lot better. I've been, like, the first 23 weeks were the worst for me personally. That's why I really struggled. After that, I don't know if it's hormones evening out or something else going on, but like, it's been better ever since. I still have like moments where I have like wobbles and stuff, but generally doing much better. So that is something I wanted to just quickly throw in there. Oh, one other thing is, I did mention in the last bump day that I did, I think, that I'd been to see the birth options midwife. She was really good, and she like sat down with me for an hour and a half and went through everything and was just really like supportive and everything. But she actually recommended that I go and see an osteopath, because I told her about this problem that I've had with like stinging wee that I've had since I was 10. And in pregnancy, like my second trimester, it was definitely, I think it was my second trimester, it was worse. I've mentioned it in a couple of my bump dates, I think. Like this stinging pain, like when I pee and after I pee as well, like it just kind of lingers. And it's totally random. I can have it in the morning, be fine at lunchtime, and fine in the evening, and then have it the next day, or just go weeks without it. It's so random. And one thing I've noticed is now that baby boy is head down, sometimes he'll press himself into my bladder and I can feel that pressure, but it also causes that same like stinging pain. And so she recommended to me that I go see an osteopath, because they might actually be able to do something. And it's the first time anyone has ever suggested seeing an osteopath for this particular reason. I've been to see a urologist. I went to the sexual health clinic to see if they could like do a swab and find any infection or anything. I've seen various people about it, but I've never seen an osteopath. And I was already thinking about going to see the chiropractor just to kind of get my back in shape and everything now that I'm getting bigger. So actually, I thought, well, seeing an osteopath might be a good thing anyway. So I have got an appointment with her today, and I've no idea how it's going to go, but that is something I'm doing. And then I think the only other thing to really update on is that I'm starting to get things ready for little man. So you might be able to kind of see along here, various bits of baby stuff are kind of piling up in my room. We have put the bassinet, the kind of Moses basket together, which is what I'm going to be using when I'm here. So yeah, I've had a few questions about this. I think, mentioned it a couple of times, I'm not sure. But I am planning to come back to my parents' house immediately after birth and stay for a couple of weeks just while I recover and stuff, and just to make it easier. So we have a Moses basket here. So we've just basically washed all those fabrics, replaced the mattress, and put that back together now. So that's kind of ready to go. I have started to pack the hospital bag, although I haven't finished it just yet. There's still a few bits I want to grab, like a nightie that I can breastfeed in and stuff like that. And I think I have managed to pick up the last bit of baby clothing that I wanted to get for him. So hang on a second, I'll just pick it up and show you. So I've just picked up this little 0 to 3 month outdoor onesie, because he's going to be born in February, and probably the first, I think, couple of weeks I won't want to leave the house, but after I might want to go out. And the thing with the UK is, like, February, March, April, you never really know what the weather's going to be like. You can have really warm Marches and Aprils, or you can have really cold. So I did think that I for some reason, all my previous little ones that I fostered who have been in they've been in the winter months in the 3 to 6 month range. So I have a 3 to 6 month all in one, but I didn't have a 0 to 3 month one, and I just wanted to get one because I do think they are good. And I've looked so many places. I didn't want to buy an expensive one. I looked online, I looked on like second hand. I went to like a little children's charity shop to see if I could find one, and I couldn't. So I eventually caved and bought a new one. But I got this one from, it's Sainsbury's actually. It's got little, I don't know if you can see, but little stars on it. And it's just soaking, it's so soft. So it's not too thick. It'll just be, I think, the right sort of temperature for that time of year. And obviously it's got the little like mittens that you can fold over and stuff on there. And I just thought it was so adorable. And I think it was only £9, so it really wasn't that expensive. And it's the only thing that was still on my list to get him clothing wise. Everything else, like onesies, etc., He's pretty much sorted now, I think, until like 6 months, to be honest, because I already had a lot of clothes anyway, but this was one thing I did want to get. So really pleased with that. So that's it in terms of what's happened over the last 2 weeks. So now I will go ahead and show you my belly. So this is belly with my t-shirt on. Definitely feel like I'm getting bigger now. And this is belly on its own. Still quite compact, I think, but very happy with that. So yes, that is it for my 32/33 week bump date. Things are getting close now, and yeah, I guess I will see you guys soon. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye everyone.